What I want to talk about today is the creeping Ginny plant. You can get at Home Depot, Lowe's, your average hardware store. You can order them online. They usually come in a pot with dirt, and they're usually available at least starting in the springtime. It's a nice plant that has some draping, which I'll show you a video clip of here. They don't seem to have any blooms right now, but they do produce yellow blooms. They're great in rock gardens, marshy areas. Supposedly they can live all season. They can manage the cold, and they can manage some dry weather, just like your average marsh plant should. My favorite thing about these plants is that you can take them out of the pot, separate them, get all the dirt off, and plant them in your tank or your pond. They will live submerged for a certain amount of time, but eventually they may melt away and die because as a marsh plant, they're not meant to stay submerged. Oftentimes confused with a couple other plants of the same family. And it costs about $2 a plant. I think this is just one plant. So for a pot, they're about $1.97, I believe. I'm going to set them in my pond because even though the weather is still fighting me, it's time for them to move on from my indoor tank to something with more lighting. One thing I like about these ponds is that it has a step right here that they can sit on, but I need to get a block or something for it to stay on. And I want the plants to be able to drape over the edge, drape into the water, that kind of a thing. And I'm just going to put both pots in here. I'm not actually going to plant them in there. That's not my goal. Eventually they may be moved into my own rock garden. They did really good inside, so we'll see how they do outside. I planted them in my tank last year. I love how they kind of float on top of the water too. They don't necessarily grow in. If they have leaves, they like to stay up on the water. You can see they go like this and they drape over. And the one nice thing this will do for goldfish, they like the draping over of these plants because in the wild that's where they spawn. But these are not quite big enough for that yet. Or I might be able to use a short, wide pot to prevent this length from the water. Overall, you've got an easygoing plant that's cheap and affordable, something that can provide one of those drapey kind of looks, provides a natural space for fry or eggs, and it's versatile for cold water fish or warm water fish. It could be used in an axolotl tank if you would like. It gives a little bit of color, and if you're somebody that likes to alternate the look or feel of their tank, this is a good choice.